What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Friday. It's a wonderful Friday to be Francesca, because she's moving into her
moving day, baby. Moving on up.
To the west side. Because she's coming from the east side, and I know the lyrics are the east side, but...
Yeah, but I'm leaving the east side.
She's leaving.
What about Moving Out by Billy Joel? You know that song?
Do I know that song?
On a midnight train to the west side.
Yeah, Moving Out by Billy Joel. When I first moved out of my dorm room, when I first left the first college I was at, I listened to that song on repeat.
Yeah.
I even tweeted Moving Out Billy Joel.
I think I've been okay, and I'm just so excited for the new apartment, but I do think leaving the Upper East Side in the morning could be like Sob City. Because I got emotional thinking about it. I've lived in, this is the only place like I've lived in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like I was just thinking about all like the crazy life moments that I've had while living in that apartment. I'm like, wow, it's really kind of like an end of an era. Like I was a student there. I got my internship there, my full-time job. I met Joe. Like all these things happened while living in this apartment. I'm not trying to make you cry.
I'm like seriously getting really emotional.
I know. You can't cry. You can't cry. I said I was going to cry. You crying is going to make me cry now.
We're both crying.
Unbelievable. Well, anyway, now I'm going to downplay it. Whatever. I hate this apartment.
I started giggling at first because Noah's crying.
I'm not crying.
Noah. And guess what? You don't have a camera on you, so no one will ever know.
No one will ever know. He is crying, though. No, I got emotional because I started laughing at first because I knew that I was going to start getting emotional about it. It's just you named a lot of important things in your life.
Like
and I'm
major
so
things that
I've
been in that apartment for. And that, like, I've just gone through, like, a lot of life in that apartment. No, I'm serious.
Get it together.
I know you're serious. I can't help myself.
I know. So it's a big step, leaving and doing this. So I'm excited.
We are excited for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I wish I wasn't actually crying. I wish I wasn't. But it's a huge moment in your life. Very excited for you and Joe. I feel like I'm giving a wedding speech.
Yeah.
I can't tell which avenue I want to take with the rest of this. Do I want to keep going emotional, or do I want to steer away?
We can.
Okay, I'll wrap up my nice words.
Yeah.
I am super excited for you and Joe. I think that this is great. We've been waiting for you to take this next step in your life. We didn't know when it would happen. Everyone was wondering. We were talking with the family. We said, when is she going to start doing this? And you're finally here.
Yeah.
And it's happening, and we're super excited. And I have to give you a housewarming present, so we'll have to think about that. Okay. You didn't get me one, but that's okay.
I did not.
You should have given it on the pod today. Damn.
Well, I didn't think about it until now. I
thought about it right now.
In this very moment, I thought I must get her a housewarming present.
Wait, so are you going with Fran to the apartment?
She asked me
I asked you to.
And will I accept?
You seem like you did.
In the moment
she accepted.
Are
you rescinding your acceptance?
No, I'm still gonna come. But fun fact, I've never been to France. She had all these big life moments there, but not having her co-host Rhea there. Any of them. So that's kind of disappointing. I didn't see the apartment.
Maybe you should go. Like the last day she's there, you're there, like helping her move out.
You don't want to help me move out.
No, I would if you need me to. I'm not busy tomorrow.
It's pretty much done. Everything is boxed up.
Good.
And
phew.
Yeah.
Got out of that.
Yeah. It's pretty much all
done. But you
done.
can still go just to see it.
Yeah, but it's empty now. Like there's nothing in there. There's not a speck of
Will
furniture.
Smith picture of her like standing there like crying.
I should. That would be deep. That's a little too dark. I don't know.
That is.
Because I will go check out the apartment.
If I was like leaving and didn't have a plan, then it'd be way more sad. But
and she came with me to see my apartment before we moved into to do the walkthrough as well. So I'll do it for you, babes.
Thanks.
I'll do it for you. Thanks. Super exciting. Me and Noah played a mean prank on Fran before this, and I'm glad to see that we've come out on the other side of it, because she was really not happy for like a good 20 minutes. She wouldn't speak. She had such an angry face at her laptop.
I had to sit with it for like 10 minutes, and then it was okay.
It was uncomfortable, but I get it. Not everyone's down with a prank. Hank's
I
annoyed
hate being
with me lately too, because I played a prank on him where in the middle of the streets of the city, I got down on one knee. And he didn't like that.
Are you like about to become a fucking prank TikToker? Are you going to be Crocs Kid out in Times Square,
What
like
did you
farting
say?
in
Did you
people's
say anything?
faces? Like,
Absolutely not.
you're halfway there.
No, my pranks are harmless.
That's what they all say.
Getting down on one knee.
You got no,
in
but
front of
you
Hank
could get
is
the prank
hilarious.
What did you say anything?
That
or
was
just,
funny.
I said, "Will you marry me?"
like in a serious way.
No, he knew I was.
Okay, so
because
then
what
you-
happened was we were walking to the subway with somebody from work, and I texted them and I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna play a prank on Hank. I'm gonna ask you to take a picture of us because I like my outfit today, and then I'm gonna hand you the camera." So that's exactly what we did. And Hank was so honored. He was like, "Oh, you want to take a picture?" He took out his disposable film camera and
he
was
was like,
like,
"Take a good
He was
one."
like, "Here, take a good one." And he was just upset because he was like, "Oh, you don't actually want to take a picture?" He knew I wasn't actually proposing. God no.
Yeah.
And Fran's was just.
I'm just saying you might. I feel like you're getting the prank bug. Like now you're like into pranking people.
I'm so into pranking people,
Yes, just-
but in a harmless way. I would never do
But you're
anything.
so anti
That's what
April
they all
Fools,
say at
too,
the beginning.
So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, because it's one
Well, April
day.
Fool's is one day. That's annoying. Like
wouldn't
she's
you-
gonna start pranking every day, but April Fool's.
Yeah, hijinks. A little bit of hijinks. A little bit of a recorded hijinks is a good time. Harmless hijinks, like fake proposing to Hank, harmless. Telling you that Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra broke up, harmless when you find out that it's not real.
Yeah.
Within 30 seconds, you're like, oh, that's not real. Fran did for 20 minutes wouldn't speak.
Well, I
Great acting on me and Rhea.
yep. Noah.
I
was
wish it
great.
ended a little bit sooner. Like I could have gone like a minute and
Yeah,
like
you-
believed
you-
it, but you went
you
like for
dragged it
a
out,
really long
'cause I was
time.
wondering
where
when you were
now
gonna
I
What
was
is
like,
considered
okay.
a really long time?
Like I think
It was 5 minutes tops.
But,
Yeah,
but we
that's
started
way
talking
too
about
long.
other stuff, and I'm like, she still hasn't told her that. That's
yeah,
not
that's
real.
what I'm saying. Like
No,
you
we
gotta
didn't.
like
No, we were talking about other
Yes.
stuff that came up. I was like, I didn't know how long you were
Yeah.
gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm like, is she gonna tell her like tomorrow?
I would have
Guys, I got it all on camera.
Yeah. It went on for too long that I got mad.
Yeah.
But if it
Yeah.
ended maybe a little bit earlier.
We're past that, though. We are past that.
And I don't like being gullible. Like I feel like people who get pranked are gullible, and that's like
I don't think
hate
that's being
being
gullible. I think like
You
there was no
think?
reason for you to like not.
I
Believe
did
her.
question it at the beginning also.
But even like, why would you think she's lying about that?
Exactly.
Like she's a prankster now.
Here's the thing.
I mean, next time, yeah.
I'm gonna be fact checking every time she says something now.
I know Fran will never believe me again when I have my
Never.
phone out and I'm telling her
If
news.
she tells me any Jonas Brothers news, I'm never believing it ever again.
I realize that. The thing is, the pranking is not to make the other person look a fool. You know, everybody gets pranked.
Right.
If you tell anybody that something
right,
happened
but
and
the
they
person
believe it,
being pranked feels like a fool.
They feel like a fool.
Yes.
But I just want everyone to know that is not the goal. The goal is to just make other people laugh.
yourself.
Myself and other
Yourself.
people. Because when other people see that, they're like, oh, that's pretty funny. Harmless.
Yeah.
Harmless. Harmless
Look,
fun.
You're a toe in the water. There was a kid here who worked at Barstool very briefly.
Do not compare me to
Oh
this
my
fucking
God.
Crocs
Kid.
Don't compare me to
And-
Crocs kid.
Don't
And
even mention
he
him.
was a hoodwinks guy. That's what he did. He had a whole YouTube channel. Like I think
got
him working.
canceled.
Yeah,
him
he was
working
a
here,
bad
He
guy.
was bad. No, I know. I'm saying you're dipping your toe into the prank world, and once you get a taste of the good. You know, you're getting all these laughs. Everybody on TikTok is like, wow, Rhea, you're so funny. Good jokes.
Nobody's saying that. No, absolutely nobody.
Then all of a sudden, you know, you're pouring water over your head on the subway.
I would never do
What
such
did he
a
do
thing.
on the subway?
He poured like cereal.
Yeah,
all
that
over
was
the-
ridiculous. That kid sucks so much.
He sucks so bad. I would
Yeah,
never
yeah.
do something that would actually harm anybody.
Okay.
The first prank I pulled was telling everybody that
Hank.
O.J. Simpson died.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
harmless
Yes.
because it's O.J. Simpson, and you know what I mean. And then what?
You're dipping your toe.
I'm dipping my toe. But
See
don't
if the
worry.
We're worried
water's
about
warm.
you.
Seeing if the
Is
water's
this an-
warm.
Is this an intervention?
No. We would know. Noah and I would know if the pranking got out of control.
Anyways, follow me on TikTok at Rhea Chiff, CIUFF.
Yeah.
And you'll see all my fun pranks on Noah and Fran.
Yep.
Hank said something to me last night that really stuck with me. And it's
I mean, where is this going? I thought that was so serious the way you just said that.
it's pretty serious.
Okay.
I was in an annoying mood talking a lot, which I do. And I just was nonstop talking. I just was walking around the apartment talking to myself. Chatterbox, just saying things that just didn't have to be said. And I was like, why are you ignoring me? And he goes, because sometimes your words could have just stayed thoughts.
Damn.
Doesn't that hit hard?
Yeah.
It's been sitting with me.
Sometimes, however, we make our money by putting our thoughts into words.
Well, that's another thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't know about that. And he goes,
but sometimes, maybe in the privacy of your own home.
Right.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm going to write that one down. And he was like, you think that's, and he was like, wow, do you think that's going to be beneficial to your life? You think you're going to use that? I said, no, absolutely not. I'm just going to write it down because I thought it was funny that you said that to me.
Damn. So he said that, you thought it was thought-provoking, and then you said wasn't that good.
No, I mean, it was thought-provoking for sure. I thought to myself, hey, he's making a point.
But you weren't writing it down to remember it. You were writing it down.
No, I wasn't writing it down to remember it for myself in the future. I was writing it down to remember for this podcast to talk about it.
Okay.
Not because going forward, am I going to stop being
Hank catching myself. A lot of L's the last couple days.
Yeah.
Fake proposed to, thought he gave you some good advice. You said, nah, this is good material for the podcast.
He's getting really annoyed with that. He's like,
why are you going to write that down? That's so nice. No, actually, I'm going to tell the world about it on the podcast.
Well, he said to me, he's like, are you using me for clout? Because the other week, I had this revelation. Well, I was super high, and I was like, oh my God.
You don't use him enough.
No, well, that, yes. But at the same time, I was like, oh my God, you're Hank.
Yeah.
I was like, people know who you are. You number
you
one sports
don't
podcast.
Use him enough for clout.
I know, and I was like, I need to step my game up.
Yeah,
people know you, and he was like,
you guys don't interact on social media as much as you could, which is a nice thing, I will say, because I think that could also be a super annoying,
right?
But you could a little bit more. Yeah, the TikTok you posted about the pod, that was funny.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that was the revelation. I was like, oh my God, He was slightly offended. He was like, oh, you're just realizing people know who I am? And I was like, not that. I just don't think of you as like, oh my God, you're Hank.
Yeah.
And now I do.
Yeah.
Now you're just a pawn in my little game. Okay, moving on.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, there is a whole market there, and
you gotta pander to like the part of my take
couples
crap.
videos, couple YouTubes. Look at Cody, Co, and Kelsey. They got a great thing going on.
I know. Couples got a great thing going online. Couples got a great thing going online. They do. And for the past 4 years, I've been ignoring that.
You have.
I've been acting like, you know, well, because we work together, so I'm always like, we can't like post certain things. Yeah. People are going to know about our relationship.
Yeah. You don't want to share too much, but now it's been a long time.
Yeah, because sometimes when I share something, and then I'm like, wait, everybody in the office is going to see that. And they both work with us, and that's kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I put up a quote card, like inspirational quotes that Hank says to me.
You guys hugged in the office yesterday, and
it was so
weird.
It was so weird.
Nobody else reacted, but it was just me being like, why are they hugging?
Wasn't that so weird?
It really was. Like, it really in was, Hank's corner, you got, like, he went in for a full embrace. Like, it was like a nuzzle hug. And I was like, what are you guys doing?
It was really weird,
I don't think anybody else felt like weird about it except me, because I never see you guys act like that at work, and so when I saw it at work, I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
I know, it was so weird. That's what I'm talking about. And I put up inspirational quotes or things he says to me, and I made them into inspirational quotes, and one of them was, the only thing that's thick is that ass. And I put it up, and I was like, people at work are gonna see that.
Yeah
I saw it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it's just I don't know. It's uncomfortable but funny at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. But there are for sure times you can
play it up a little bit. Yeah. Like I said, a pawn in my game.
Yep.
Okay, let's get into the topics for today because we didn't do many topics on Wednesday, and we have a full show of topics for everybody today, and we have a great
interview. It's so hot in here, man.
Are you going
like
through,
sweating?
Are you going through something?
No, it's very hot in this room.
You're wearing a sweatshirt too.
I know. And
Take it off.
I don't have a shirt on underneath, so
Show
I can't.
us your boobs.
Oh, God. Not today.
I have the giggles today.
All right, go back into the topics.
Remember when I made up that song about your boobs in Aruba? Franny's boobs.
Yeah.
I won't sing it right now. Let's get into the topics for today's episode because we did not do topics on Wednesday's episode, so we have a full show for you guys today. We're going to start off with the Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian cheating rumors. Are they together? What's going on? We have all the information for you. Vanderpump Rules returns to filming, and half the cast is missing.
Yep.
Half of them stayed the same. Katie's season of The Bachelorette has officially wrapped, and there's a lot of rumors surrounding the season that we'll dive into. Billie Eilish revealed that she's releasing a new album July 30th. She released the track list and a new music video called Your Power, and Britney Spears will finally appear in front of the court herself on June 23rd. And we have an interview with the one, the only Zac C, Zac Clark, the winner of Tayshia's season of The Bachelorette. And Fran wore
Cutie
her
pie.
Philly
I
shirt
did.
for him, which I thought was really sweet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's get into it, starting off with Tristan Thompson. Guys, it's about that time again. It's about that time. I know we don't like talking about it, but I have to check in on you guys. Are we making sure that our student loans are taken care of? Are we making sure that we have the low interest rates? Because right now, with today's low interest rates, it's a great time to refinance your student loans. Earnest offers low rate student loan refinancing, and you could check your rate risk-free in just 2 minutes. With Earnest, you get radically flexible payments, and you could pick your loan term. By refinancing, you can reduce your loan term, save money, or combine multiple loans into a simple monthly payment. And if you have questions, you can even talk to a real-life human at Earnest for help. Isn't it time you stopped feeling overwhelmed by your student debt? Because I know we all are. I still have student debt, and I dropped out of college, and it's like, what am I doing? But we all have been there. So Earnest is offering our listeners a $100 cash bonus if you refinance your student debt at earnest.com/chicks. Terms and conditions apply. Now Earnest is giving our listeners, like I said, a $100 cash bonus. Sorry, make sure I got that word out. And go to earnest.com/chicks. Terms and conditions apply. You'll get that $100 cash bonus, like I said. Visit earnest.com/chicks for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Earnest student loan refinancing made by Earnest Operations, LLC, and MLS. Number 1204917, California Financing Law, license number 6054788, 303 2nd Street, Suite 401 North, San Francisco, California, 94107. Visit earnest.com/licenses for a full list of licenses. Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian are back in the news. Another cheating scandal on the horizon. Did he cheat? Are they together? So many questions that people are wondering. We're going to dive right into it. These three women appeared on the No Jumper podcast.
Blackout girls.
Yes. And they...
I'm not sure what they do. Blackout?
Sounds it.
I tried to Google them, and I couldn't even really find anything.
I'm assuming they just party.
Yeah.
Right? They just go with the flow?
I mean, I looked at all of their Instagrams, and they have individual Instagrams, but then there's the Blackout Girls, but there's nothing like the Blackout Girls. There's no, Instagram that's just the Blackout Girls or anything like that. But then on the No Jumper, if you watch the YouTube, it's the Blackout Girls return.
Do they have a podcast?
No. I think, or maybe there is a Blackout Girls Instagram, and it's definitely a group of friends Finsta account. It's private. It has 20 followers.
Savage.
It's
we're gonna show your high school.
It's this girl wasted in the picture. There's no. So I don't really know. I tried to look up more about the women, but I guess just as a group, they're known as the Blackout Girls.
I feel like No Jumper has a bunch of just random people on that you would never
That is
they
true.
Don't have a show
and this
or
is
anything.
not the first time that a woman has gone on No Jumper and talked about having a relationship.
Yeah, well, I feel
with
like a lot of
basketball players, or athletes, or
I feel like a lot of women that go on No Jumper are people that run in those circles, and then talk about it.
Yeah. Can we talk about something for a second? Because you just said it. Demi from The Bachelor tweeted out the clip she was watching our segment talking about her reality Steve, and she noticed that you say the plural of woman, and I say women. And there's two, it goes back and forth. And now that she posted, every time you say woman,
am I saying it wrong?
I don't know. I think there's multiple ways of saying it.
What are you saying?
Woman?
But like,
woman.
Are you talking about one person?
No, she's
or
saying
multiple?
multiple.
Because how you're supposed, women, if you're talking about multiple, it's women.
Women.
If you're talking about like, Fran is a woman.
How do you say
Fran is a woman?
singular, one person, one lady?
Fran is a woman, you're women.
I believe God is a woman.
Yes, God, one person.
Woman. Now say plural.
Now, like, both of you are women.
Women.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't say women when you're talking about two people. Deep breath.
She's crying again.
I'm not crying. It's just, I know that people came here because they want to listen to us talk about the Tristan Thompson stuff.
Yes, and we're talking
and
about it.
And we're going to talk about it, but here's the thing. And
these women is what you said.
And this is I guess what Hank was saying, that sometimes my words could just stay as thoughts. But here's the time where I feel like I must talk. I must speak about what's happening right now. And I want to say something.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Are we going to go back to your acting coach and pronunciation? Because if we are,
just let me explain. When I
went to acting school.
No, it's not that. When I was younger, I had a Long Island accent, obviously. And when I was acting, my manager was like, listen, we're getting a lot of feedback that you have a heavy accent and you need to go to a speech pathologist. I can't even say speech pathologist now because I'm getting all nervous. You need to go to a speech pathologist and work on this accent and learn how to say certain things. And I did that week after week after week. I had to bring a fucking tape recorder. Yeah, you remember?
Yeah.
I had to bring a tape recorder with me, record the whole session, listen to myself back. I had worksheets. I had homework I had to do. So I did this for at least 2 years. Okay? And now all the time, people are telling me I'm saying words wrong.
I actually think the woman is the Long Island accent coming back out.
I know. And there's really nothing we can do about it anymore. And that's that. And it just frustrates me that my parents wasted their money.
I just didn't really think it was that noticeable until Demi tweeted it out. And I was like, wow, I guess I never noticed that.
I think it's just like some people just...
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I must enunciate more.
She didn't, but it was funny because she didn't say, oh my God, she's saying it wrong. She was saying it's interesting that people say that word differently.
That's a nice way to say that you're saying something.
You know the
wrong.
Harry Styles song, Woman?
Is singular.
Yeah.
Woman.
Yeah.
Woman.
That was a trivia question.
The Blackout Girls are women.
They're women. There are certain words that I can't, like drawer, drawer. Can't drawer.
You know what's something
struggle with that one.
I can never spell definitely. Like when I'm writing it down, I'm always like defiantly,
about that extra E.
or like it's just I get them mixed up. No, like just the
guarantee
middle of
is
it.
that word for me.
Yeah, there's some words.
Don't have that problem. I'm a phenomenal speller.
Yeah, well there you go.
Straight up. Sorry.
You lost your spelling.
Okay, so these girls, these women.
Stop.
These women went back on the No Jumper podcast. They were joking around about hooking up with guys, and one of them asked Sydney Chase, how's Tristan Thompson's dick? That's just how this all started. They were drinking, they were having fun, they were talking about it, and it blew up slowly. Like, this podcast came out and there wasn't really a reaction. It was on a few like social media pages and not like mainstream media, but then it blew up and it was all over the place once again of her. And then she posted a TikTok. Sydney posted this TikTok It's like a Charlie's Angels looking TikTok. It's her and her two girls like behind me. It's like her muscle is behind her. And she, it was all around a very interesting TikTok, the way she structured it. One, it was like, I know the entire world is talking about me. Insert screenshots of all these headlines about herself. And then she apologized, saying it was a private thing that she shouldn't have spoken about publicly. But I'm going to talk about it again and give more detail, saying they met in November. They spoke, they hung out. January was, I believe, the time she spoke about them on the podcast. And then the last time she spoke to him, besides when he, I guess, heard the interview or heard what she said and he messaged her, it was the night of True's birthday party, which obviously wasn't that long ago. So I don't know. It's shady. It sounds like Tristan Thompson walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, probably a duck. And so I don't know. It's hard because it's just happened before. So it's like, yeah, okay, sure, it happened again.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Are Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson even together? Because if you've been watching this season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, they have said multiple times that they are not romantically and sexually together, but they're working together as co-parents.
Right.
So to me, that kind of seemed like they were good friends, they're good co-parents, but maybe they are not actually in a relationship. And so that's why
I kind of felt like they may have been sneaky, like sleeping together, but she didn't want to say it on the show.
Well, that's possible.
Like, I feel like when Tristan and Scott had a conversation, and it seemed like Tristan sort of hinted that like something extra was happening. Like, he's like, we're sleeping in the same bed, and like, I don't.
Yeah, they're cuddling, they're getting along. Yeah. So I can see how that would mean, hey, we're together, but we're not together. There's a mutual understanding in our heads that we are trying, but we're not putting a label on it. And I feel like maybe that's where they were at, or maybe that wasn't where they were at all, and maybe they really were just co-parenting. So I feel like the relationship of those two are getting very confused, because now this is a Tristan Thompson cheating scandal, which I'm not defending Tristan Thompson. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's garbage, and I stand by that now. I talked about this the last podcast, that I feel like you and I both were like, okay, Khloe, when people were saying that they were back together and Khloe went on her Instagram and was like, I could do whatever I want. Why is anybody giving me shit? This is my life. We were like, yeah, we agree. You can do whatever you want. If she's going to forgive Tristan Thompson, but kind of, keep that same energy for Jordan Woods. That was one thing that we were like, you got to forgive both. But we get it. Now I'm like, no, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I think Khloe Kardashian can do so much better. I think she's wasting her life and wasting her time with Tristan Thompson, who evidently is going to cheat again. Maybe if they weren't together now, or when this happened with this woman. There I go again. With this woman.
No, you're good. With this woman.
Now I'm thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
And whatever happened here, maybe they weren't together, so maybe it wasn't actually cheating. Who knows? He's going to do it again. I don't think that he's really a great guy when it comes to relationship shit. Maybe he's a good dad. You could be a good dad, but also be a garbage boyfriend, a garbage husband, just a garbage human in a relationship. And I feel like that's kind of who he is. So we need to stop accepting Tristan Thompson into Khloe Kardashian's life romantically for her at this point, because she's not doing it herself, it seems. Yes, they need to keep a relationship because they have a kid together, of course, but there are plenty of people who make it work. There are plenty of people who are not together, who have a kid, and they make it work. I feel like from what we see is that Khloe really wanted to make it work with Tristan because that is the father of her first child. And I get that. I understand that. But there needs to come a time where you understand he's not it. He's just not it.
Yeah. And I do think that the sisters have a dad. Like, one, their father passed away when they were young. Very sad. And then they go through what happened with Caitlyn Jenner. And it's like, I feel like they had a great childhood. They always talk about their great childhood, but it always has seemed like they've really wanted their families to be a unit and their kids to have one like one parent, not
One
parent,
father.
one father. Like where it's like Kim was always like having all of her babies with Kanye. Even with Kourtney, it was like, okay, she was thinking about having a fourth kid with Scott, not being with Scott. And it kind of seems like it was the same thing for Khloe potentially. She wanted to have another baby with Tristan, but may not actually be with Tristan. And it does seem from the show, from what we're watching that has happened last summer, that Tristan could have been in more of like a trial period. You know how they're sitting at that table and they're all joking about Kourtney and Scott and like, let's just get married, get back together. And Kourtney had said, you know, we've had this discussion. Scott knows what he needs to do for that to even be a conversation. So it's like, it makes me think that Khloe and Tristan may have had some kind of similar situation where it's like, we could get to the point where we get back together, but I'm giving him this long of a time to see if he fucks up or not. And if he doesn't, then we can talk about getting back together. And if he does, well, here we go again. So regardless of if they even have been together this whole time or not together at all, I think she was still looking to see if he could man up and not sleep with other girls, and he wasn't able to do that. So it seems, allegedly. And so it's like even people being like, I don't even know if they're together. I feel like Khloe was trying to get to a point where they could be together. This certainly does not help that at all.
Right. Well, just to play devil's advocate, and this is not what I believe, but just raising the question now, do you think that it's right to make somebody who you're not in a relationship with not sleep with other women, other girls, other people?
Women.
You know, no. Like, I get what you're saying, and like in Tristan's mind, right? He's like, well, I'm single. She doesn't want to be with me. But when you have fucked up multiple times already, can you really blame Khloe for wanting to put him on some kind of like trial run? I can't. It's the same with Scott. We love Scott now, and we've loved Scott and Kourtney. But if you go back and watch like the earlier seasons of Kardashians, we all kind of hated Scott's guts. Like, Scott was terrible. He was really terrible bad to Kourtney. Like, he's turned over a new leaf. He's a different guy now. And I think, you know, being a dad and a lot of things have changed for him. But like, then you still see the pink hair and you're like, okay, are you good? Like, what's going on? But I don't know. I can't fundamentally, like, I get it. Like, it's like a trial run. Maybe she's you know, dicking him around a little bit. But when you fuck up like that, what is she supposed to do? Welcome you back with open arms? Like, yeah, let's be a couple again. Like, no, she wants to see if he can stand up to the job.
Yeah, I agree. I was just raising the question because I feel like that's something that people would disagree on, but I think that you're right. I think it depends on the circumstances. Like, if this was just a normal relationship, normal girl and guy, you know, talking and
right. If like kids in college,
right? Exactly. Like, you're not.
Like, I'm giving you 6 months and you can't sleep with anyone, and if you don't, like, we can get back together.
That's a ridiculous thing to ask. The kid's just gonna go fucking move on and sleep with whoever he wants at that point. So I think there are certain cases where that would be a ridiculous thing to ask for somebody. Yeah. I think in this case where it's like, you publicly embarrassed me multiple times on an unbelievable level worldwide. You hooked up with my little sister's best friend. That's highly embarrassing. And the time before that. There are many times where he just publicly embarrassed her and also hurt her. So I feel like in this case, that would be something that I think Khloe was right by doing. Now, we don't know all the details. We don't know if that's exactly what happened. But
Sydney's obviously getting her name out there, which, you know.
So that's another thing people are talking about and wondering is whether or not
the paparazzi's following her now.
Is this a clout chasing
pictures
thing?
Taken of her. And the No Jumper podcast is interesting to me too, because I feel like that's what they do. Like, Adam 22 like does that. Like, he exposes people and puts people on blast and like you know. So to me, I almost think that him having them on, they kind of go in with a plan, being like, well, you're going to tell the Tristan story, right? Like, you know?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And it's confusing because I think if the story is true and this is what this girl wants to do, then she can do that.
Right? For sure.
And if you can call it clout chasing,
Yeah.
you can call it whatever it is. I'm sure she knows that. I'm sure in her head she's like, yeah, I'm going to get some attention and whatever. And if you
her
can
TikTok was set up like a press conference.
Right. And if you can deal with that, then go for it.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop you? It adds entertainment to everybody else's lives. Yes, it adds, it hurts other people's lives as well, which is unfortunate. But for the drama aspect, we're like, all right, spill it. Tell us what you got. So if you can deal with the backlash you're going to get when you do something like that, then whatever. It seems like this girl knows what she's getting into. I personally could never fucking do something like that. Never. I really just, well, first of all, we would never sleep with somebody who was with somebody else. We just wouldn't do that.
Kardashians.
Yeah, we would just never do that. So that's the number one thing. But also even when we hear things about celebrities or people we know, we don't say shit because you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
For sure.
Vanderpump Rules is back to filming. It seems like they will be returning, but with a much different cast.
Yeah.
Jax, Britney, Stassi, Kristen, they are no longer on the show. This season's going to be the Toms. It's going to be Sheena, Lala, Katie, those people, but the 4 that I named will not be on. And I also read that Lisa Vanderpump wants to be a more focal point of this next season, and I think that's probably because she's not on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She probably misses that shine from being on a reality show, and now she wants to be more involved in the next season, which I think will make up for the rest of the cast missing, even though we talked about this before and we thought just scratch everybody all together, start over, start fresh, get a new set of Vanderpump Rules. It doesn't seem like they're going that route. It seems like they're sticking with the cast.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going to happen when filming was postponed, and were they going to come back? Were they not? How is it going to look? They are going to start filming again. It's a whole different look regardless. Lala, Sheena just had babies. Stassi also had her baby as well. So it's like
and Britney and Jax.
Right. So it's just so, I don't know, the dynamic is going to be so interesting to me because they're all still so intertwined. That was always the thing about Vanderpump Rules that made it so great in the beginning, was it was people that actually knew each other before they started filming. And as the years have gone by, like last season when they put these new servers onto the show, and it was kind of a disaster. It did not really work. And those guys aren't coming back. Dana's not coming back. I think Charlie is coming back, but it's like, are they going to try that again? Is it like, all right, let's get a new round of young people to try and infiltrate, which is not going to work because now we're dealing with just parents. Like the conversation, their lives are so different for Sheena, for Lala. Even the little preview that Bravo had posted that felt like not scripted, because I know it's not, but it felt like a little contrived. Like it was, oh, Katie, when are you gonna have a baby? And they're talking about it and talking about it with Lala. So I don't know. It's hard, and like I said, they're all still friends. So it's how Jax, Britney, Stassi, Bo, like how do they not talk about them at all? Are they not involved? Like, they don't even get their name brought up, because we see on social media they're all still together. The babies are meeting each other. There's all these little baby play dates happening. It's very cute, but that won't be on the show. So I don't know how Lisa plans on elevating this, but I'm very curious to see how this plays out, because I kind of don't think it's going to be good.
I think we'll have to watch and see what happens to see how we feel in the beginning of it. I think if Lisa Vanderpump is involved way more, then I think the show's just going to turn focus to her. You're right, their lives are dramatically different. I don't know how interesting it's going to be. I don't know how they're going to want to film all the time and do things when they're trying to take care of newborns.
Yeah.
That's also going to be really tough. So I don't really think that Vanderpump Rules has a long-lasting shelf life.
Yeah.
I think that they'll see what happens this season, and it could potentially be the last. And that's just my opinion. That's just my feeling on it. I don't know any information. So I think it's just like they're going to realize it's not the same.
Tom and Tom are always entertaining. I think they always bring a comedic factor and they're fun, but it's now just the dynamic of like the drama and the gossip and the hookups. It's just not quite there. And if they bring new young people in, it just doesn't feel like Vanderpump Rules, because you know that all these people don't know each other. Like, it's like when Dana got put on, it was like, oh, she's been working at Tom Tom and she knows. It's like, no, she's not. It's like she's cast on this show. She does it for a season and then she's like, I'm out. I'm leaving. So I don't know. It's very hard to show genuine friendships on this show that are not part of that first crew. And I don't think it's like gonna work if they just keep bringing in new people that are quote unquote servers in the restaurant. Like, I don't know how long that's gonna be sustainable.
Vanderpump was in its prime when Jax and Stassi were at each other's throats, and fucking Jax slept with Kristen, and it was all fucked up to their friends, but it was highly entertaining.
James's
to
life
us.
is even pretty chill these days.
Yeah. Oh, I totally forgot about James.
Yeah, James and Raquel will be on, but like I just feel like their lives are.
We haven't heard much
pretty
about
chill.
everybody besides the babies.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
That's what I think we might be getting.
A lot of baby content, which is nice. Babies are great.
Eh.
Reality. Babies are great, and like watching the
babies are great, but on reality
Instagram
TV
stories of them, amazing. Well, yeah, unless you're, we're going MTV like Teen
Mom.
Mom. Yeah, but this is a different vibe.
Teen Mom is like a bunch of teens who got knocked up, and now they got to deal with their kid, and so they're crazy. They're out of their minds. This is like the babies can't talk.
Right. This is they're all like they're all just going through life's changes and like
life's biggest moments.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So it's going to be very, very different without half of the people.
I am super excited because I submitted my Embark DNA kit from Norman because I want to find out all of Norman's traits. I want to find out what
I'm so interested.
His breed, because they say he's a dachshund, but I think there's more to him. I think there's more to my pup that I want.
He just has so many more layers.
Listen, I was in the park yesterday and a woman comes up to me with her Doxy and she's like, "Oh my God, you have such a rare breed dachshund."
Wow.
And I was like, what? And she explained it to me. It's like a piebald dachshund.
Yeah.
Something about his coloring and the spots on him. She said, you never see those two together. She was explaining to me. She's like a dachshund expert.
I was going to say,
no,
this woman
she knew
is well-versed.
everything. She knew everything. And I was like, wow. She was like, that is so rare. She couldn't look away from him. She couldn't look away. And so now I'm really excited to get my Embark DNA kit back. I submitted it. I'm going to have to fact check her. You're right. And I will learn all about his breeds, his types, health conditions, things I need to know about him to make him live a better life. And just so we know about our sweet Norman. So you can learn your dog's inner secrets with Embark, the highest rated dog DNA test. Right now, Embark has an offer on their breed and health kit for our listeners. Go to embarkvet.com to get free shipping and save $50 off your Embark breed and health kit with promo code CHICKS. Visit embarkvet.com and use promo code CHICKS to save $50 off today. The breed and health kit typically costs $199, but with our code, it's $149. So use promo code CHICKS at embarkvet.com and get that $50 off. Save today. Katie's season of The Bachelorette has officially wrapped. They finished filming. And we saw the promos for the season. It looked like they were worth about $3, the budget for the promo.
Yep.
They looked super cheap. This is nothing towards Katie. It's just the way the promos were cut.
The background. It was like the plain white background.
The plain white background, the dresses, the outfits, everything about it looked super cheap.
Yeah.
And there are now rumors about what's happening with the season or had happened on the season. Dumois posted that somebody sent in that apparently it was up to Katie on whether or not Chris Harrison was going to return for this season of The Bachelorette. And
I have it if you want to read it.
Yeah, I kind of know it by heart, but go ahead, read it.
But it's just because I think that the submission said the show was ready to welcome back Chris Harrison, but Katie needed to sign off. He called her to make sure that Katie would be cool if he returned. She said no. Then she tweeted immediately after the call that Harrison would not be returning to the show. Production and Chris were not expecting that. Now they are finding that everyone has a problem with Chris returning as host, and they may never be able to bring him back because no one wants him there. Multiple contestants and leads have expressed they do not want him there for Paradise and Michelle's season. Stick a fork in him, he's done. Now the high-powered attorney he hired makes sense. Chris Harrison will never be back as host of any show for the franchise. Now, it's an anonymous submission, take it as you will, but it is, I believe more of it because of this E! News article that came out right after, like really defending Chris Harrison and being like, Chris Harrison was so missed. It was like so weird that he wasn't there. So it makes me think that like, I don't know, they don't want the actual situation to come out, or Chris Harrison doesn't want the actual situation to come out. But I'm also skeptical on the first thing, thinking that like does Katie have that much power to be like, oh, he can't come back? And they're like, okay, yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah, that is interesting because I feel like maybe they thought since it is Katie's season, would she feel comfortable with Chris Harrison being the host and knowing everything that's going on? I understand what you're saying though. Like usually they don't really have that big of a say.
It doesn't feel like it seems, has control over production in that way.
Exactly.
Like Chris Harrison decisions.
Right. It seems like, well, maybe they were so fucking like confused on what to do that they were like, let's ask Katie.
Yeah.
Let's just ask Katie what she thinks.
Right.
And so that's what they ended up with.
Because the last thing they need is more contestants like turning on the show or anything like that. Exactly.
Well, what if Katie did not want to be a part of a season that Chris Harrison was hosting? She's already the Bachelorette, and I don't know. I think that you'll read the facts from the E! News article that came out, but read that first and then.
So very, suspiciously a little bit, that's posted on Dumois, and then today this E! News article comes out, headline: How Chris Harrison's absence impacted the dynamic on set of Katie's Bachelorette season. A source close to production exclusively tells E! News that Chris's presence was missed because the guys always go to him for advice and view him as a wise older guy, and the ladies go to him as a father figure. During Katie's season, her contestants couldn't get the same advice rotation. Caitlin, the insider, says. I mean, I joked that, like, is this insider Chris Harrison? Because it's very complimentary towards him. Chris was also missed in the sense that he is, quote, the mediator and voice of reason on set. The second source explains the guys didn't feel like they could necessarily vent or have therapy sessions with Tayshia or Caitlin. It's easy with Chris because he knows the drill and the process. Ultimately, filming had a different vibe because it was a lot of female energy in one bubble and hard for Katie to have the full spotlight, noting that Caitlin and Tayshia have extremely outgoing personalities. It was a little hard to put all the focus on Katie when Caitlin and Tayshia were there. It wasn't necessarily competitive, but it was really a different vibe. I don't like anything in this article. Mm-hmm. Not a thing. I don't like the, like, oh, God, it was terrible without Chris Harrison there. And the, like, oh, Katie couldn't shine because Caitlin and Tayshia were there. Like, why are we...
That's just
we're
basically
already going to pit these women against each other. The season hasn't even started yet. We're going to say, oh, okay, Katie didn't get a chance to shine because of Caitlin and Tayshia. Like... I don't like that either.
Yeah, they're basically saying like three women can't all be in the same space.
Right, like they can't be the stars of this TV show. They need male energy.
Yeah, it's a terrible, fucking terrible message to put out there, first of all, because I feel like that's what so many women are fighting against is like, no, we can all live in the same space and we can all be successful and we can all be happy for each other and we can all support each other. And this article is basically like, nah, Caitlin and Tayshia...
Too big of personalities.
They have too big of personalities. They're taking up too much space, and Katie couldn't shine. Katie could fucking shine if she wants to.
Yeah.
Caitlin and Tayshia can shine if they want to. Everybody can shine together. It's not taken away.
I hate the way the whole thing's written. It's like, oh, Chris Harrison, the guys didn't have anyone to vent to because Chris Harrison was there, and then also say, oh, Caitlin and Tayshia like stole the show too much.
What do you mean the guys had no one to vent to, too much female energy, when there's arguably more men because there's 30 fucking men competing for one woman?
Yeah.
You got 30 men you can turn to vent to.
Yeah.
And there's 3 women. and you're saying there's too much female
Right.
energy, that makes zero sense.
And like, I don't think
There's
they have
zero
a
sense.
scheduled time for contestants to go sit down and have a vent session with Chris Harrison.
No.
Like, I've never thought Chris Harrison was that involved with the contestants that much, because there's so many times, and we've had contestants on the show who said, oh, I really only talked to Chris a couple times. Like, I don't know him that well.
Right.
Like,
So
it's not like he's sitting down and becoming BFFs with every contestant.
Yeah, that article fucking sucks. I don't know who the insider there was. Everything about that is annoying. I understand that it's going to be different and weird without Chris Harrison. He has been the host for 20 years. He has hosted every season. It's going to be weird without him, 100%. But will we adapt? Will people adapt to it? Yes. Like that's the thing. Like, I get that. I understand where people are like, oh, it was different. Chris Harrison wasn't there, but they could have spun it in a better way. Yes, it was different. Chris Harrison wasn't there. It was a little weird for everybody, the production on set, to not have Chris there. But Caitlin and Tayshia did a great job. Katie shined.
Yeah. Listen to this quote.
It just doesn't make any sense, that article.
This is about Caitlin and Tayshia. They're very attractive and fun and familiar to the franchise, so it kind of distracted from Katie being the only desirable woman there.
Oh, so maybe they're insinuating that the other
guys were distracted.
But Caitlyn. Okay,
they're both in relationships.
They're both in relationships, and those guys that need to keep it in their fucking pants because they're there for Katie, and they know they're there for Katie, so they can't even be around attractive women without wanting to fuck them. That is a ridiculous statement to put into an article.
Yeah,
that is basically. It's just going against everything what everyone's trying to not have be the case anymore. That guys can't be around attractive women without wanting to bang them. First of all, the too much women in one space. Like, it's just a terrible article.
I don't like it. No, I know. It's insane. And like I said, interestingly, coming out right after that submission was posted on Dumois. So it's like where those are two completely different messages. One, oh, no one wanted Chris Harrison. He's never coming back. Two, everybody missed Chris Harrison and he's needed on the set. Like, two completely different messages.
Yeah, it is. I think that we will find out more as it goes on. Well, we'll just have to watch the season.
Yeah. Yep. Billie Eilish revealed that she has her new album coming out July 30th. She released her new song called Your Power. The song and music video, she directed the music video herself. It's very, very cool. And just like, it feels like such a different vibe, this album. Robbie Fox, who we work with, posted on Twitter the two album covers next to each other, from her last album and from this album, where it's like heaven and hell. Like, she looks so angelic, the blonde hair and everything. In this new one, it's like close up of her face. And her last one, where like she's possessed, like it's kind of terrifying. Very different images, but like cool I'm not going to say the word, but juxtaposition is what I want to say.
Great word.
Good word, yeah, but hard to say. And I think I'm very excited for the new sound. It's everything she does is very angelic, but this feels like angelic with the happier
like maybe
message?
The lyrics are like
kind of,
because there are songs in the old album that
they sound angelic, but they're so sad.
But if you actually listen to the lyrics, it's like, this is really sad.
So sad.
Yeah, I really loved her last album, so I'm excited for this one. This one's called Happier Than Ever, so I think that maybe it's going to have a happier feel to it. The music video was super cool. After watching Billie Eilish's documentary on Apple Music, I can tell how involved she is with music videos. She really likes things to be super real, and she's really involved in the creation of all of it, and I think that's really cool. And she really, I know that a lot of artists do this, obviously, but it seems like there's a lot of thought that goes into everything that she does. And with the making of her last album, it seemed like there were a lot of things that she had to redo, and she was second guessing, and she didn't like this song, and she didn't want to put it out, and it ended up being one of the biggest songs, and a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Where seeing how she posted about this album, saying that it's the best thing that she has ever done, and she's so proud and happy of it, gave me chills and made me so happy for her, watching that documentary and seeing how she was always second guessing herself after her Coachella set that she did for the first time. She thought that she did terrible. She forgot the lyrics to one of her songs. And it was a great moment. People laughed. People enjoyed it. People love real moments like that when they realize, oh, the artist is a real person. They can fuck up and not remember something. And it was almost sad to see. It was interesting. But at the same time, you're like, she's so good. She's so talented. She's unreal. Why is she doubting herself so much?
She's like so young.
She's so young. Exactly. So young and so talented at such a young age. She's doubting herself so much. It's sad to see. With this, her post about it, I was so happy for her because it seems like she's so happy with what she's about to release. And I think the little tease that we got with Your Power in that music video is just more for great things to come. So I'm really excited for her album. She has a ton of songs coming out on that album, which is great because I think a lot of artists, sometimes they'll put out 7 to like 10 songs, or you'll get even more than that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I love Billie, and I love her whole new look. I think she could pull off anything, but it looks awesome.
And like you said, she is super strategic in what she does and how she puts stuff out, that it makes a lot of sense, I think, for her to release this song when she did too, because as the album Happier Than Ever, you listen to Your Power, and it's more like, that's clearly about a past relationship. It's dark. I think people were saying that this song recounts like her abusive relationship that she was in when she was 16. So it's like, it feels like it was a plan, release this song, music video, and show as the first step. And now when the whole album comes out, you can see like the change and what has happened in her life since then. And like she wrote, also, like she said, Happier Than Ever.
She put out My Future, which is also on that, like, was it last summer, I think?
Yeah, that's on this album too, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I feel like it's all, like the My Future thing is, like, I'm excited about the album coming out, like, all this stuff. And then
it's like, let's talk about this from the past, and then when the whole album comes out, like, let's continue to talk about the future.
And obviously Phineas, her brother, is extremely talented, and they are a great team, and I can't even imagine working that closely with one of your siblings and not butting heads all the time, but they're an awesome duo.
Yeah. And the music video is really cool. Like, she's so young to be directing her own music videos, and we're going back and forth about this snake that she has in the music video, because it's this massive snake that's wrapped around her body, wrapped around her neck. And then she posted a couple Instagram stories where she is very clearly holding a real snake. The music video is kind of hard to tell. Like, some angles, it's like, okay, that kind of looks real. And some it's like, okay, how is she sitting there? This snake is wrapped 8 times around her throat. So maybe it was a little bit of both. Maybe it was all just completely real. But the metaphor of like the snake wrapping around her for this song was also very thoughtful.
Mm-hmm. In the documentary, I'm pretty sure, and I may be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but if you're listening to this and I'm right, let me know. I think.
But if I'm wrong, don't let me know. But if I'm right,
no, if I'm wrong, let me know as well. But I'm pretty sure she like popped off in her documentary being like, I'm never having somebody else direct my music video again.
I remember that.
Like, she was like, I'm not having anybody else direct my music video. Because they weren't understanding what she was saying. So I get why she's directing her music videos now, because she knows what she wants.
Really cool.
Definitely.
Major update in Britney Spears' battle with her dad for the conservatorship. Britney Spears will be speaking herself in court on June 23rd.
Hallelujah.
Yep.
It's finally happening. This is everything anybody has ever wanted. We may be freeing Britney.
All these months, these years, we've said, we just want to hear Britney talk about it. We just want to hear how Britney feels about it. And I think everyone is very hopeful that we'll get to see what she has to say, whether it's standing up there and saying like, I do not want my father a part of this any longer, or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she says something different. We don't know. But her lawyer told the judge this week The conservatee has requested that I seek from the court a status hearing at which she can address the court directly. The lawyer did not disclose the specific matters that Britney would like to address. The attorney shared the hearing would pertain to the status of the conservatorship. My client asked that it be done on what a tough day, huh? My client asked that it be done on expedited basis, emphasizing the urgency with which Britney would like to appear before the court. And so because of the request, they're doing it within a 30-day window is what they asked. The judge set the status hearing for June 23rd at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Other matters, and then they talked about some other stuff also pertaining to the conservatorship. And now, like I said, this is a huge step.
This is huge because I feel like we will finally know where Britney stands.
Yeah.
If she's able to get in front of the court and she's the one asking for it, I'm hoping this means we're going to get the truth from her.
Yeah.
I'm hoping nobody's telling her, hey, you got to get up there and say this, like her dad is controlling what she's saying.
Right.
I really pray that she's able to say what she really feels, because I really think she's stuck. I really do. That's what I believe. I think she's stuck. I think it's terrible. And I think it's a long time coming that Britney Spears waiting for her to address the court and have them actually hear what Britney has to say out of her own mouth instead of people controlling her life forever.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it because I think when we heard this, everyone got really excited, hoping that she would really kind of say what everyone's probably looking for her to say. And if that's not the case, people are going to freak out. It's also like, if it's not what she says, it could fuel the controlling situation even more, being like, wow, like that. How much control does Jamie have? But this is still it's been going on for so long, and Britney, I feel like, has got to be just bleeding money, because not only is she paying her lawyers, it's like her money is paying Jamie. So it's really just been going on for so long that you hope Britney's ready to go up there and be like, hey, because she keeps saying on Instagram, which is why everybody's like, what, is she okay? Is she not okay? She's like, I'm good. I'm happy. My life is good. We saw a picture. She went to a wedding with her boyfriend. Like, her boyfriend, whose wedding? I don't know. It was in it looked like a standard hotel ballroom, like a very, there seemed like there was 30 people there, and Britney Spears was there at the wedding.
But if Britney Spears was truly okay, wouldn't these people that she's attending weddings for and her friends be like, Britney's fine, guys, stop, Britney's fine?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they say that?
I don't know.
Wouldn't she say that? Wouldn't she come out and be like, guys, enough, I'm fine?
Right. And she also could be she could be living a life on a day-to-day basis where she is enjoying herself and, quote unquote, being happy, but still wanting Jamie out of the conservatorship, which I feel like is more likely the case. I don't know. It's just, how deep do you want to go? Like, does everyone really want to dig in and say she doesn't control any of her social media? Which I do think the last time is like her accounts are owned by some LLC that is run by Jamie. It's all very fishy, but like I said, there's really no straight up fact. We don't know anything for sure.
But maybe we will find out.
Yeah.
On June 23rd.
That's what I'm saying. This could be the only time that Britney actually speaks about it.
Hopefully.
I really, really hope so. We have a great interview with Zac C coming up, Zac Clark. But before we do that, just want to remind you guys, if you are a struggling chef, you're trying your best, things aren't coming out the way that you want them to, we have such an easy way to become a master chef. It's with HelloFresh. HelloFresh cuts out all of those, stressful prep time, grocery store trips. You can get full, amazing meals ready to go, 20 minutes or less. Everything's sent to you, packaged, ready to go. So you have less prep time, not a lot of chopping and all of those kinds of things. And they also have quick breakfast and lunch as well. HelloFresh offers 25 plus recipes to choose from each week, from vegetarian meals to craft burgers and extra special gourmet options. There's something for everyone to enjoy, with all recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. I will tell you, HelloFresh is so great. The ingredients are so fresh. You don't feel like, they're sent to you right to your door. You feel like you went to the grocery store, picked up these items and brought them into your house, which is so nice. I will say that when I am cooking, I'm not great at it. I could use some help. HelloFresh makes it so easier for me, and it's great to do like in a couple or with friends. Everybody gets a job. It's so easy. Nobody's arguing over, oh, we should cook it this way, or oh, we should cook it this way, because you say, hey, you know what? Let's follow HelloFresh. We'll do it together. Joe and I have done it a bunch of times and have loved the outcome. Joe is a much better cook than I am. And so when I get the HelloFresh meals,
he is a really good cook.
When I get the HelloFresh meals, it's great because I can kind of step up to his game, and he also loves them as well. They taste delicious. So you can go to HelloFresh.com/12chicks and use code 12chicks for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Once again, go to HelloFresh.com/12chicks and use code 12chicks for 12 free meals, including free shipping.
All right, everyone, we are here with a special guest. I know everyone's super excited about this because we slipped it in briefly in the last podcast. Zac C is here, Zac Clark from The Bachelorette with Tayshia. She's not here, but if you watch the season, then he ended up with Tayshia, and he's here, so welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
We're
pumped to be here.
We are super excited that you are here, and this is now, we've had Dale in studio, now we got Zac in studio. It feels like we're getting back into the swing of things.
You're going in order, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Great point.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just we're going in chronological order of winners. Hopefully that continues. We continue to do that on the show.
Now I feel like we should ask you exactly what we asked Dale. How much did you see of our show talking about you? What do you know?
And what I know about you guys, you should be really fucking proud. I mean, you're like, if I was at 26 and 23, right? 20,
yeah.
I was like shooting dope and smoking, you know what I mean? So you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
With that, I mean, I caught some stuff on Twitter. I know Fran was on Team Clarky,
Big time.
I appreciate the love.
Big time.
Yeah.
There's my dad's from Haddonfield, so from the beginning you were my pick, because even when it was Claire, I was like, well, I like this guy. Remember, I gave Zac the first rose in our first Cutting Stems episode.
Yeah.
So your old man grew up in Haddonfield.
My dad, my aunts and uncles all still live down there. Same with my grandparents.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. So
Yeah,
at
see,
home.
I was like not as on your team. I have to be completely honest. Like, I can't sit in front of you and say that I was.
All good.
But I do, like, here's the thing though. And Fran, we said this off camera. Like, we don't take it as seriously as other people do. Like, when I'm shitting on people on the show, like, I really don't care that much off of it. It's kind of just my instant reaction or whatever. And it was the thing that I felt about Dale, which I told you guys I want to talk about on the show, was watching Dale and the way he spoke on the show, and you're like, everything he says is perfect. What is up? And then he came on the show and he did kind of the same thing or whatever.
Yeah,
and
this
so
is vibe.
and then so with you, I was like, everything he says is perfect. It was kind of the same thing, but I definitely think you show way more of yourself. Even after the show, you've showcased yourself. You are real. You are you. And I definitely am Team Zac now, so I want you to know that. But I was a little outspoken, just for a little fun, just
good.
to create a little controversy.
So you gotta pick a pony and ride it.
And
It's all good.
also, we
when-
can't both love the same person. Like,
And
that's
also,
just, like, one of us is,
when you rile somebody up about something, like, it was more so
she
to like
loves riling me up.
like to get under Fran's skin a little bit.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped too.
That's definitely true. That's a big part of it, because she knows that if I love something and like she'll be like, I don't think it's that great, and I like explode.
Exactly. so that's why it was a little bit of that as well.
Yeah.
But we are happy you are here, and we are big fans of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So for you, it was just the Philly hat.
It was the Philly thing. I liked your vibe. And then, well, with Claire, it was like, we didn't see you at all. So I was like, oh boy, this guy's gonna, I thought I had you as a favorite from the beginning. And then I was like, ooh, that was probably a bad pick because I didn't feel like there was anything with Claire. But when Tayshia came in, it was like, okay, this makes more sense. They actually seem like they have a real connection and they're talking. But yeah, like Rhea said, there was definitely a lot of moments where I think everybody thought you were almost too.
Well, I remember
nice.
what it was now. It was when they asked you if you've ever cheated on somebody.
Oh,
and
here we
you
go.
Said, I know, I'm going to
Here
get
we
riled
go.
up about it again. And you said yes. And then your answer was that it was in like 6th grade or something. And I was like, there's no fucking way.
We spent a whole episode
I did.
arguing
I
about
was like,
this.
there's no fucking way that he said yes so fast and immediately was like, oh, it was 6th grade. Because I feel like when you think, you know, those obviously 6th grade, you're like, those relationships don't necessarily count. So I was like, I don't know about that. But then people were DMing me and they were like, Rhea, you got to think about the editing. He maybe didn't say yes so fast. Maybe he does consider that cheating. So we can get
yes. And I think for me, my mind can be very like rigid, you know? So if I'm gonna ask the question, especially in that, like, I'm on national television, this is gonna get out there. Whether it's 8th grade or senior year or I'm 25 years old, like the girl that I cheated on, like she can put that out there and then all of a sudden I lied about it, right? And I think like, because I did have a time, like on that date, I had a couple minutes to think about, all right, I'm going to be asked some crazy questions right here. What's my response going to be? So I was kind of prepared for it, right? But yeah, I did. I mean, what do you want?
Look,
and it was
that's the
6th
story
grade.
he's sticking to.
Yeah, he's sticking to it. I can tell.
I mean, I
He's
think
not
when it
letting
was
up.
fact checked, it might have been like 8th grade, like whatever. Like the
Right.
girl, you know, we started. Emmy Hall is still like a friend of mine, you know, and she's like married with kids in Haddonfield.
So I was
like,
gonna say
living
it's
that
a small
life.
town, yeah.
And she remembered you cheating on her in that grade. Okay, so that makes sense now that if you would have said no, she would have been like, no, we were in 6th grade and he cheated on me.
Right.
I get it.
I think I actually, because you would do the same. Like, I think that if our boyfriend, when we were younger, went on reality TV and they cheated on us and then lied on TV, we would be screaming from the rooftops about the story.
That's a great point because I talk about 6th grade all the
All
time.
the time.
Like, I always reference my middle school for some reason, like, as very formative years with
Yeah.
relationships. I have no idea why. So you know what? You're right.
There we go. All right, so that's one win. For,
Yeah.
for
We're
Team
checking.
Clark over
We're
here.
checking out all the boxes. How are things going now post show?
Things are good. I mean, I think, you know, I've mentioned this many times in interviews. Like, I didn't know much about this world, so the whole idea.
Did you watch any, like, just one episode? Like, I know your sister nominated you, but did you watch, like, a test episode?
So my dirty secret is when I was married, there was a season with Allie.
Yep.
Like, this is 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I was like sick, you know, like whatever. I was out there, but we watched a couple. I remember, and like maybe the guy was Juan or someone. Like she ended
Alan
up with.
Fedotowsky and-
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. And
Yeah.
then since then, I hadn't seen anything, so I was really walking into it blind. I mean,
Right.
I watched.
So
a
it
couple
wasn't really
episodes.
fresh in your mind.
I mean, I watched like the limo entrances. Like I wanted to at least like know. Yeah, I'm not coming in that. I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna walk up and say hello. Like at least prepare myself a little bit for the moment. So. That's my.
You didn't want any gimmicky limo entrance?
I mean, nah, I'm good. I'm good on just saying what's up.
Yeah, did they try to tell you to do something like that, or are they kind of just like do your thing?
I get that question a lot. I mean, I don't know if it was just me and like my experience. I wasn't really told to do much. I kind of was able to navigate it however I saw fit. I think maybe if they knew they maybe had a crack and they could go at someone and say like, hey, you want to throw this goofy suit on or pull up in this car?
Yeah.
But for me, I think they kind of got it pretty quickly that I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. You know what else I feel like now I'm remembering that bothered people too was the New York connection. Because I think people were watching and they were like, wait, I thought he was a Philly guy. Now we're going to New York. Why is his hometown New York? What's your connection with the city?
So I've been in New York for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's my safe place. So
Yeah.
I basically... I ran around South Jersey, got married, thought I was going to live this like suburban life, right? Like that we all dream of. And I ended up going to rehab. And I'm sitting in rehab for like 4 fucking months. I'm like, what am I going to do? And my counselor comes in one day. He's like, what about New York City? I'm like, why not? So I moved up here January of 12 and like knew no one, right? Like just 0 people. had never partied here, thought the city sucked, hated the sports teams. Like I was like, but fuck it, let's give it a shot. And so, for me, it's my safe place. I love New York. Like I love everything about it, the energy and just it's a land of opportunity. And it'll always have a special place in my heart. That being said, I know there was some talk about the whole why was his hometown in New York. It's like, first of all, we're in La Quinta. Making Haddonfield, New Jersey at La Quinta or Phil. It was going to be a little bit harder to pull
Nobody
some shit
would
off.
even know what you're trying to impersonate.
Right. You just are walking through like some nice spring flowers and you're like, hey, welcome to, this is South Jersey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing with that too is like, right, so I had connected with Tayshia at that point, and she had actually, we had started the conversation. We're like, well, what do you think about New York City?
Yeah.
So for me, that was a little opportunity to say like, eat a bagel, have a slice,
Yeah,
It's a great
and
place.
that's where you currently live. So you want to know that she's comfortable with New York City. And for somebody who moved here, you said you had no friends here. How did you end up making friends in New York City? Because I feel like that's a question people wonder. How do I move to a New York City and make friends?
Yeah. My superpower, like my competitive advantage is like this whole recovery thing that I have going on. So, when I got here, I just started reaching out to some folks that I knew would kind of help me out, and I ran around the city, and I put myself out there, much like I did, 10 years later going on this show.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Truly.
Networking, really.
Yeah, definitely. And Tayshia, now it seems like has gotten a little bit of the New York City buzz. I know, of course, she has been filming for some time now, but before that, it did feel like she was kind of getting, because at first it was like, oh, we're bi-coastal, we're moving, but I felt like she was really starting to fall in love with New York.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it sucks, right? Like we came back to the city on Christmas Eve, and we were here for a couple months, but it was still freezing cold.
Yeah.
There's still no indoor dining, so I can't be like, hey, let's go to Union Square Cafe, like let's go have a meal,
your favorite restaurants,
right? Do the thing. And then literally it kind of like popped off a little bit right at the end there, and she's like, oh, I got this thing. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. So like I think this next time around she's gonna really get to experience like Central Park and all that stuff.
Especially New York City in the springtime is beautiful. It's the best time in the city. But I think people love fall in the city as well, but spring in the city is just awesome.
No, I think we're actually in like the
prime.
Like today actually might be the best day of the year in New York City.
Honestly, it's
like,
80 degrees. It's April. It'll get cooler by dinner time. Sit outside.
Yeah.
Is Tayshia back? Because I saw Caitlin was back.
They're done.
Yeah.
But we have not. We are reconnecting soon, which I'm very excited about.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
It's been a minute,
I hope we see it on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be updates.
It's funny because there is like, I think that there's a lot of pressure that's put on the winning couple, and I feel like you guys got a good taste of that when Tayshia was filming, and it was like, oh well, she posted this and she wasn't wearing her ring in this video, and like everybody freaks out. How do you guys kind of manage like the pressures from the fans and the outside world, because people love you guys?
Yeah, I think it's always great to be loved, but at the end of the day, we are in a relationship with each other, right? And so all that noise and all that drama doesn't really matter. Obviously it can affect people, especially if it's negative, but we get really good at swipe and delete. Like I've learned that just like
in the DMs, you're just like, I don't even want to look at this anymore.
It's either that or I laugh out loud. Some of the shit is so funny. Like you just have to appreciate it. So
good. Well, that's good, because I'm sure there's definitely some crazy messages and things that you guys get, but
oh no, there was some shit with my mom, like first
of
all, my mom
I forgot about that. Yes, your mom unfollowed Tayshia, and
my mom
everybody
is
freaked out.
70 years old,
yeah,
loves a glass of Chardonnay, like probably like at home, like doing this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I call her, I'm like, Mom, what's going on? Like, why did you unfollow
the
Tayshia?
internet
what happened?
ablaze.
She's like, I didn't unfollow her. And Tayshia has this podcast. She's like, I just kept getting all these things for clickbait, and like I didn't know what to do, and I started just clicking things. So like, she probably but these people are out there like sourcing this shit all day long. So
they know who is following who, they know who's not following who, they know the second you unfollow somebody. It's honestly wild the things that they can detect.
Right.
But you just gotta.
They said something about Caitlyn not following you, or following you and then not following you. And then Caitlyn was like, well, I never followed him to begin with.
Ooh, Well, she probably will now.
Well, yeah, that I thought was funny. Like, she, you know, it was like a social media, like, well, I went to check to see if Zac followed me and he didn't, so I didn't follow him.
Fair enough. I do that with people.
Yeah.
How was it during the filming of the show? Because you mentioned you didn't sign yourself up for this, but you were going in head first. Did you know the whole time that you and Tayshia kind of had a special connection, or is it something you figured out more towards the end?
Well, I can start. I think in order to answer that question, I got to talk about the Claire piece a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for a lot of reasons, I'm grateful that it happened the way it did. One of which, like, I showed up there and my head was rotating. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, I remember sitting at that first rose ceremony. I'm like, just send me home. Just send me home. Just send me home. Like, I just was like so uncomfortable at first. But I feel like I almost got a dry run, right? Like, I feel like I almost got this dry run. And then the drama happens. Dale and Claire ride off into the sunset. Good for that, or sunset. Good for them. And Tayshia walks in. I'm like, okay, we're live.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, it's on. You know, and so I know that first night, you know, we connected a little bit, like, by the fountain. And then since then, I mean, like, we like, from that moment forward, I should say, we always had a nice connection. The one-on-one, like, where I was able to get real about, you know, some of my history and the Ferris wheel and that kind of stuff was when it really, I think, took off for me. So
yeah.
And I think that conversation is something that everyone really appreciated. I know that we talked about it after and we were like, this is honestly great, because a lot of the conversations that were had on the Claire/Tayshia season were things that were never discussed on the show before, or maybe brushed upon but not discussed in depth. And so we really admire that you were so open on such a big platform about something like that. It was really, I think, big of you to open up like that, because, you know, you don't have to air all that out, but what you talked about can definitely help a lot of people. I'm sure it did. And just hearing about how open and honest you were was really awesome for the viewers.
Something the show's never really done before.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. And I mean, just for even for you guys, I'm sure at your age, like, you're starting to see some friends kind of like go down these like kind of weird road, and like maybe they have an issue, maybe they don't, you know? And for me, like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm not ashamed of it. It's actually, I'm very proud of it, you know? And like, if people want to judge me for that shit, fine, but my life is incredible to like, it's next level, right? And I get to do all the shit that I used to do hammered, and I wake up feeling great, you know, like, that's the way I see it. So I appreciate you saying that, obviously.
Yeah, and that's a really positive outlook to have on it.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, you know, to your point, the guys, I think one of the things that gets lost in this whole thing is it takes balls to like go out and like do, like, so all the guys that showed up there, and like, and Tayshia and Claire and like all the people, you know, it's I think it's glorified to a certain degree, but it takes a certain type of individual to really go on TV and like put yourself out there like that. And I think we had a really good group, and Tayshia was kind of able to hold that space for some of those conversations. I know, like, with Ben and Ivan, and some of that shit was real. So
yeah, do you think like you guys kind of being an older cast made a big difference? Because there's been so many seasons where like the median age is like 23, 24, and you didn't see these kinds of conversations happening.
I mean, I would put it back on you guys. That, like, you watched the show, right? Like, I would ask you, like, if you felt that coming through.
I think so. I thought that the age really made a huge difference.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was the general conversation that we took away from the whole season, because obviously
more mature guys.
Yeah, we talked about that, and obviously it was a crazy season. It was all over the place. We were like, oh, you know, even as viewers, I mean, it was crazier for you guys, but as viewers, we were like, what is happening? A new Bachelorette? But we love Tayshia, so we were so excited about that. But the whole thing that we took away was like, okay, you know, was this the most explosive ending? No. Was it the craziest thing? Maybe not, but I think that this season had something that it never had, and it was because everyone seemed very mature. Yeah, there was like actual substance to the show.
What happened? Because it's hard because you don't like really know, I feel like, with like the Peter and Hannah and like all the shit that went down. It was
do you not even know about any of that?
So dramatic.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Like, there's shit that like I walked through that I didn't know. Like, apparently, like, two dudes usually show up to this proposal at the end. Like, what? Like, and like one is sent home. Like, I'm going into that thing like I'm the guy, right? Like, I'm the dude. Like, that's in my head. Like, this is locked up. And I remember talking to Chris Harris. He's like, He's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. What are you talking? Let's do this. You know, like. And then
you were like, there's a chance she says no.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Imagine that. You would have been like, then why the fuck did they send me here?
You're like, why am I here? I thought this was it.
Yeah. You're probably better off not knowing a lot, honestly. It probably worked out in your favor. And honestly, I bet, is Tayshia happy that you don't really know much about it?
Yeah, I think that was attractive to her naturally, right?
Yeah.
Because it separates now being off the show. It separates your relationship from the show if you're not so involved with the franchise itself.
Grounding a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have a lot of love for those people, no doubt. Like they've definitely, and I shared this with some of the producers. Like they've definitely come under fire for some shit that, like, you know, some of it very like warrant, you know, and like that's why you see change, and that's how we get to like a better place or whatever it is. But like, you know, I did this crazy run like 2-3 weeks ago in the city here, where like it was just like a grassroots thing. We were gonna raise some money, and like that shit wouldn't have happened without like this platform that I've been given as a result of these people like working on this show. So there's some good that comes out of it, and you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that, and two, not to just, you know, like keep complimenting you, but it's a good way to like use the platform in a positive way, because I think that a lot of people assume that the younger kids that go on, sometimes it is, you know, for those Instagram followers and for the, you know, they want their own podcast or they want their own show or whatever it is. And it always kind of seemed like people didn't get those vibes from you, which I feel like is why you stood out a lot also. And seeing now like what you're doing, like with the run, one of he's not here anymore, but Bailey Carlin ran with you guys. Yeah. So it's really cool to see, and I feel like you've been able to use your platform to talk about, you know, release recovery and all these things that you have going on. So that's really cool. I think that's like a positive way to look at it. And I'm curious like about release, because you told your story on the show, but we didn't really hear where like that ended and your foundation began and your you know, so how did you even when did you say, you know what, I am going to fully dedicate my life to this?
Great question. I think, well, first of all, just on one thing you said, you know, about the guy that kind of goes on the show to become like,
or girl, both, vice versa,
you know. And like for me, like it turns out for that person exactly the way it's supposed to, you know, like most of the time. And like, and if that's what they got to do to like make the next buck, like good for them, you know. Like and I say, like, obviously, like I want people to be there like for the love and the story, and like, but at the end of the day, like that's my point. Like you're gonna get that, and I don't know, like I'm kind of okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with that. I think honestly, I agree. If you're gonna make money off that, go ahead and make your money and whatever. I
was just in a different, like, and that leads into like I was just in a little bit of a different spot, you know, like where I had a company that was established, and I've been, you know, working in addiction recovery for, you know, the majority of my sobriety. So basically, I showed up in New York City, and I was still working like my old job, like the, you know, the Cube Farm, like crazy, you know, smiling and like boiler room shit. And I got introduced to a couple guys, to your point, Rhea, from earlier, and it just like one thing led to another. So I got a job kind of working in the field and worked my way up at that company. And then after 5 years, I looked at my co-founder of Release, Justin Gerlin, who's also, you know, my best friend in life. I said, like, dude, we can do more. And so we got a call about this property up in Westchester County, which is whatever, 45 minutes north of here. And we bought this house almost like 4 years ago to the date, early May, and we haven't looked back. So we have a 17-bed program up there for men. So like, you know, people 18 and up coming out of rehab, they come live with us. Like I was just up there this morning. It's the best. It's my favorite place in the world. And then we have 2 properties here in the city, one for men, one for women. Women's on the Upper East Side, men's down in the West Village. So that's 40 beds. And then like me and Justin, we do a lot of like consultation work and interventions. And like I was just texting with someone now, like, can you do a house call tonight? You know, like, that's like balancing that with kind of this whole like new relationship. And it's been a lot. And then as if I wasn't already busy enough, in early 2020, we started the Release Recovery Foundation, which again, Justin and I like looked at each other and had this moment of like, all right, we're helping a bunch of rich people because that's who can afford our services. Let's try and give back to those who can't afford it. So we started that, and we've raised a bunch of money. We have some people in treatment now getting help. And really, like, the whole goal there is just to raise money and put people into treatment that can't afford it. Like, not to bridge the middle gap for, like, the middle class, but, like, really, like, we want to help the people that otherwise are on the street.
Yeah, that's awesome. And where can people donate to that now?
Yeah, it's releaserecoveryfoundation.org. You know, there's definitely ways to donate. We're going to have a lot of things coming up this year. We have a golf outing in July, which will be cool. I'm running London and New York marathons. We'll have teams out for that.
Awesome.
You know, we're just about, like, community. I'm sure I'm going to start doing some, like, group runs in the park and people can roll through. And it's not just, like, for me, you know, my passion is, like, it's not about just, like, being sober. Like, that's to each his own, you know. And I just listened to actually Dax Shepard. He did Macklemore. Like, they did a podcast. And, like, I really encourage anyone who's, like, curious about this whole thing to listen to it, because they kept it so real and they didn't put recovery in, like, this bullshit box that so many people do. Like, it's like, we're just people that are, like, trying to do the best we can and, like, help some people. And sober to me is, like, I don't do drugs and I don't drink. Like, sober to someone else might mean something else, and that's okay. You know, that's not my business.
Whatever somebody wants to do is what they want to do.
Yeah. So I'm pumped. It's fun.
That's awesome. And you said, you know, obviously doing all of that and being in this new relationship, Tayshia's obviously doing her thing too. She hasn't been here as much. You guys are doing the distance thing. How has that been? Like, how do you guys stay connected?
I mean, like, a lot of this.
You
know, a lot of FaceTime, a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messaging. You know, it's hard at times naturally, you know, because, you know, if I'm on a heater and, like, I'm whatever, busy doing whatever I'm doing for a couple of days and she's got the same thing going, it's like the relationship almost can, like, feel like it's not the priority, and I say that in the most, like, loving way, because,
like, it's on the back burner,
like you have a list of all these things to do, and, like, talk to Tayshia becomes, like, one of the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's not it is just, there's so many other things going on, I guess. Is what I'm,
and I think that happens with all relationships, everybody, you know,
Yeah.
like, we both have boyfriends and we're busy and we're running around, and it's like, oh, forgot to text and see what's going on.
So trying to have grace with each other and, like, that's it, you know. But we're gonna be, like I said, reconnected soon, and so I'm pumped about that, and it's all good. Good,
and exciting things this summer, and see what you guys are doing with Release Recovery is really awesome. Is there anything else you wanna?
I'm trying to. I think we covered it. I think that
I know. It's so weird because we talked about it so much during the show that I'm, like, almost forget everything that, like, I'm like.
No, I think
ended so well for you guys.
Yeah, it did. It ended really well for you guys, and I think we covered the cheating thing, which was my number one thing that I talked about. And
Are
also,
we good now? We're
good on that. We're good on that now. But also, you talking about your addiction and rehab and stuff was a conversation we genuinely really loved, and we talked about it on the podcast. So like I said, I just thought that was, like, just admirable. Did I say that right? I feel like I stumbled over my word there. Admirable. Yes, exactly. But thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. What do you got tomorrow night? What do you got? Come on, give me 2 seconds on the draft.
We're doing the draft will have already happened. I think the Eagles are taking a cornerback. I think they're going to take Horn, or Horn might. If Horn doesn't go, I think they're taking Horn. And if not, I would kind of love Micah Parsons. If they don't do that, I just don't think these wide receivers are going to be there. I think they're like, one of them might be there. I don't think one of them is going to be there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Zach?
I mean, I'm just always worried about Howie trying to be the smartest guy in the room. I could see them trading back. I mean, that was a lot of the buzz today about them trading back, and, you know, one of these teams trading up to get a quarterback. But, I mean, if Devontae Smith is there and, like, you got a Heisman wide, like, just
if he's there, I hope they take him. But I'll be surprised. I feel like
yes, guys, totally.
Rhea.
Are you out on sports? You're no good. Like,
no, I'm not out on sports. I'm just, like, not. First of all, football is not my favorite sport at all, and I'm not, like, a Philly fan. So You know.
And you're so I'm like so fascinated by you guys. I know like we're up here, but like
Now Zach's gonna interview us.
how did you end up? I mean, like.
We dropped out of college.
I
started as interns.
Yeah, well, we both
People
started
need to
as
hear
interns.
that story. Like, it's
Oh,
funny.
they've heard it.
They've heard it. Well, the funny thing is, people always ask us. They're like, "Can you tell the story about how you got hired?" Because when new listeners come in, they're like, "We haven't heard it." But long story short is, I started when I was 19 as an intern here.
Yeah.
I was going to school at FIT, which was down the block from our old office at the time.
Yeah.
We were on that same street, and well, actually, it's now literally right across the street here too. I was like, wait, what? But I went to high school with somebody who works here at Clenny Balls, and I just hit him up being like, congrats, because he got an internship. And then within a week, he was like, well, they don't have any girls here besides Erica, who's the CEO.
Barcelona just moved to New
they
York
just moved to New York. They were like, well, they want some girls. So I came in and just started right from there. And
6 months later, I came in. Smitty hired me. I just loved, like, I followed Smitty for Philly stuff. And so he had tweeted out like he was looking for an intern. I was like the only one that actually like applied. He emailed me back and was like, you're one of the only people who sent a resume. And because all these kids were like, hey, Smitty, fuck you.
Yeah, that's pretty sad, honestly.
And so I came in one morning, sat down with them. They were doing like a morning show at the time, and they were like, you're hired. I started that day, and then that was it. We were the only girls here.
Yeah, and then
so
we started our
fucking
show.
kicking ass.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, they like cut the college, because I've done a lot of speaking to colleges, right?
Yeah.
They want to say like, they need to hear your guys' story, like truly.
We've
like
been asked before, and we're
asked.
always like, do you want to hear from us though? Because we didn't graduate.
Yeah, we always say we're like, we are not the best people to talk at colleges because we dropped out, and everybody's going to hear our story.
Hey, just fucking drop out. And
everybody's
going to
hear our story and be like, oh, all right, I'm out of here. They'll just walk out of the auditorium.
Half the people drop out anyway. So
I
maybe
know.
Them, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Good point.
It's true.
Well, thank you so much for
course,
coming
guys. Good to
in. This
meet
has
you.
been a blast. It's been great meeting you in person. And
sure.
we hope to see more of you. I don't know, you and Tasha are good right now, so I don't know if we'll see you on any more of the Bachelor shows, but
you gotta bring Tasha back.
Yeah, we do follow along on Instagram. We'll be looking forward to your reconnection. I know everybody's looking forward to that.
Cool.
Maybe we'll see you guys running. We personally don't run, but we are good cheerleaders.
Yeah, I'm out and about. We'll run in. I mean, it always happens. I'll see you guys next week. Like,
Yeah.
Once you meet in New York, it's like
Yep.
Yeah, all the
sure.
time. It's big city, but also small.
Yeah.
Thank God for the masks. That's like safe.
Yeah.
All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and we hope you have a fantastic weekend. We will talk to you all on Monday. Love you. Bye.